Welcome to our first UFFL podcast. Plenty more to come after this. How are we doing, Delaney?
Oh, we're amazing. We're ready to make history. Not quite as great as the four-person first UFFL trade would have been, but we'll
Oh,
we'll keep that for a surprise episode.
hey, well, maybe one day we'll release the secrets and the details. But until then, we got some things we got to talk about. We only have so much time here. Let's first give some shout outs. Let's give league most points of the week last week. Fuller effect. He rose from the dead. He showed vital signs, and it's always good to see someone like him not completely forfeit early in the season. So
Yes, indeed, indeed.
he is in a tough division, so you got to give him that. But it's more of the GM management that is the question mark over there. Fuller effect. Lowest points. Ah, yes. Can't let that slip by. Illegals. And get a load of this.
Oof.
66.6. Not only did you get your ass beat, Padilla, but you're showing signs of demonic and the devil. So not looking good for illegals, and that's probably why James Conner and CD Lamb went down last week. So you hate to see that one.
It's a double whammy from Satan, unfortunately.
You hate to see it. I want to dip into game of the week. I want to talk to you a little bit about it, Delaney. We had a good one, and it was 2-0 Only Dan's versus 2-0 Bad Intentions. Only Dan's felt like held it down for us as the veterans going up against the rookie. You know how I feel about rookies coming in and trying to win their first year. You know,
Well, I mean, only Dan's tried to do that his first year, so he is definitely the veteran in the situation, but still a really young GM who's obviously showing that he's ready to take that step forward, and I'm scared to play him this year. I'll tell you what.
you know who I'm not scared to play. We'll get there. We'll get there a little bit later.
Oh, okay,
But I
okay,
would
okay.
like to
We'll get
say,
there
if I
later.
remember correctly, your first year coming in the league, you did make the playoffs.
I did.
And from what I remember, you did get a little playoff win. Since then,
And that's been my only playoff win.
yeah, 6 years ago.
Unfortunately. It's
Who
okay
was?
though. It's
Who
okay.
were we 6 years ago?
I don't even know.
We were both a lot thinner at
Little
that
did
time.
everyone in the UFFL know I was playing the long game. Has anyone ever heard of a 6-year rebuild? Pretty legendary, but we're looking like we're ready to take the crown this year.
Hey,
That's all that matters.
Smoking Jays is on their way there too. But as long as you get the W, it's all that matters. So that game was pretty awesome. They came down to the wire Monday Night Football. It was super cool seeing Jared Goff, Jameer Gibbs, and Jamison Williams go up against. He was kind of I think Danny was down by about 50 points going into Monday night, if I recall.
Yeah, I
So
think you sent the screenshot in the group chat. I think he was down about 50.
and
It's a
guess
pretty
what?
impressive win through a few different players, but I mean, yeah, anyone on that Only Dan's team can literally give him 30 usually. Like his running backs 30 at pretty much any given moment. His receivers can go off. He's got a pretty solid constructed roster.
As of late, looks like they could go off for 30, but Brian Thomas is just doing him dirty. Hate to
Oh
see it.
man. You gotta look at that team and wonder, is that more of a TL situation? But Brian Thomas has had a lot of drops these last few games too. He's not. He's hitting sophomore slump real hard.
I feel like you got to blame one man over there in Shane Waldron.
Shane,
Have you heard of the curse yet, Delaney? Have you heard of the
I
curse?
have for each of the receivers. The year after Shane Waldron leaves, they blow up. Was it JSN?
Roma Dunze.
Roma Dunze, of course. How could I forget? So next year for BTJ managers is gonna be a huge year, I think.
One more shout out I will say on that BTJ situation on Only Dan's really heady move here by the vet. He instead of extending him, he hit him with a 30-year option. So luckily he's not paying out the ass, on a 4-year deal. So
There's
he's
some
gonna be
GMs that I'm pretty sure don't even know what that means, and we know who you know who we're talking about.
yeah.
We won't say names.
Are we gonna say his name yet?
We will eventually. We'll get there.
Eventually we'll get there. But let's not take this away. We will say that Bad Intentions was without their cornerstone, Jaden Daniels. And I do feel Jaden Daniels could have been a game changer that game. So, Bad Intentions, he's doing something a little bit different. He's coming in. He just wants to win right out the gate. He says, I'm not here to donate. He said, I'm here to win. Fuck a rebuild.
Fuck a
So
rebuild.
He's gonna fuck
Run
around and
through
find
money and
out.
caution to the wind, and we'll see. It's a bold move, Cotton. We'll see if it pays off for him.
Absolutely. Another game that was not game of the week, but I think a lot of eyes were on was the defending champ Gordon the guys versus $5 blowies. With $5 blowies, it's really interesting because he came out week one, went most points of the week, and then he just looked completely like roadkill week two. And I honestly, I mean, it's always easy to bash Pookies. It's always fun time to bash him too. But you know, those rookies, he's got who's it, Ashton Genty and Michael Golden. They're not really doing much for him right now. And
His
luckily,
team's still winning. It's
he's
crazy.
still winning. And according to Keep Trade Cut, he's the number one team on there as far as the future goes. But I think Keep Trade Cut needs to take in the accountability of GMing and put that into the rankings, because if they were to rank GMs, I'd probably give that tier five, tier four, whatever he is. Probably would rank him a little bit lower. But needless to say, they came out this week and they beat the defending champ Gordon the guys. And side note, not only that, shout out Pookies. He won our golf league this weekend. Same weekend. What a great weekend for the Pooks. What a great weekend for Pookies.
Pookie will be celebrating in more ways than one, I could imagine.
Yes, probably by getting his toes licked. But that's another story for another time. Gordon, the guys, though, on the other hand, you got to kind of feel for him, but we'll get to him here in a few minutes. I want to go over, without boring these guys, let's go over some players that were studs and duds this week. I will go first. And studs that actually kind of led their team doesn't mean they just put up hella points. More so, they helped their team get the victory this week. I'm gonna go Sonic and Knuckles here. I'm gonna go starting with game of the week. I'm gonna go with Jameer Gibbs. I think he went for about 26 points, if I recall. Let me see here. Um, let's see. Only Dan's Jameer Gibbs, 26.9. That's huge. That's huge for RB1. Meanwhile, you got his wide receiving core just again MIA. Ted McMillan 7.8, Brian Robinson 7.5, and Jameson Williams 6.3. Can't have that, but when you got a guy named Jameer Gibbs, anything can happen.
Indeed, indeed.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna go with Knuckles over here and back to Blowies. Let's take a look. I think he did all right. I know he got in the end zone. Let's
Yeah,
see
yeah,
here.
he actually outtouched Jameer Gibbs. I don't know if he outtouched him, but his yards per carry were way higher. I think he had 150, 120 yards and two touchdowns, while Jameer Gibbs had 67 and two touchdowns. So it's crazy to see that the Lions' offense is so potent that you can give it to either of these guys, and then they could take it the distance at any given moment.
29.4. So he did
29.4.
edge him. He did edge him. And
Yep.
it's funny. I had a conversation with Pookies the
He
other day.
edged him very well.
Oh,
Yeah.
edging. That's what it's like when you get in the playoffs. I think every guy is edging when they get to the
Yeah,
playoffs.
I'm edging hard as fuck if I
Oh,
get to the playoffs. I'll tell you what.
well, I can only imagine. You must have been blue balling for quite, what, 6 years? All right. But no, 29.4. It's funny. I did have a little conversation with Pookies this past weekend, and he was telling me how uh, tough it is having all these RB2s, Charbonnet, Montgomery. He's got, you know, RIP Jalen Wright, and then J.K. Dobbins. And I'm pretty sure he was regretting Sunday when I saw him. He was regretting not playing J.K. Dobbins, only to find out J.K. Dobbins certainly probably would not have led him to a victory that week.
How
Actually,
can you not play Dobbins in his revenge game though? I would have done it. I respect him for having the conviction to stay true and start Knuckles.
because when you're a GM like Pookie's, you're just trying to find yourself, trying to make your way out of a paper bag. Some
Just
would say.
floating in the wind. Just
Just
floating in the wind.
floating in the wind. Love you, Pookies. You tell me. Give me your studs of the week.
Yeah, so I mean, I definitely think David Montgomery, I had him for blowies. I think, like we said, going to that Monday night game, he was down a sizable amount, 20, 30. So to have one guy essentially come by and win you that game, that's huge. And what a big game for David Montgomery. Like I said already, the fact that you have Jameer Gibbs, who I think a lot of people can, you could say he's the best running back in the league. Bijan, Saquon, but I definitely don't think a lot of people are going to argue with you if you think Gibbs is. For Montgomery to come out and outplay him, at least a few games each year for that Dan Campbell led team, it's pretty impressive. And then I had another one. This one's kind of funny,
Let's
but
hear
it
it.
just barely squeaked Bova's by. We look at his roster, man. Bova's really did a number on his team. He went from the laughing stock of the league with Ronnie Bell to having some really solid pieces. So you look, he's got Derrick Henry, who's been amazing, Alvin Kamara. He obviously really hit the home run with the league neighbors, but not this week. Everyone on his team was dog ass. But the one player who pulled him through it all, Chase McLaughlin,
Chase
kicker
McLaughlin.
for Tampa Bay with 20 points and was his leading scorer. So, I mean, hey, when a kicker can come out and give you quarterback and high end receiver one numbers, I mean, how are you going to hate on it?
I mean, you're talking to a former Justin Tugger owner. I think
Exactly.
he's led us to many. Speaking of Bovas, I will say he's definitely came a long way, and I think that's what tough love, kind of gives you when you're always kind of the laughing stock, and you kind of just eventually want to break out and kill everyone, but more so their fantasy teams, not actually humans. And he did it. He put together a really good team, and I'm proud of him. He had a really good draft. He
He knew
didn't
all the
take
players he was drafting. He
he
knew some
did,
sleepers. He
he
hit
didn't
on
take
some dudes. I mean, it's
he
it's
didn't
it was
draft guys that
impressive.
were already drafted 10 picks ago, so he's coming a long way. Shout out Bowman.
Isaac Tesla's a sneaky little sleeper pick. I hate that he's receiver three again in that Lions offense, but those one-handed catches are not stopping, and
Yeah,
that's good shit.
he's gonna have to be patient with that one. Duds of the week. Now, my dud. But this tonight's gonna be duds plural. And I usually don't like doing this because I do feel bad when guys lose players through injuries. It's never, it happens. We get what it is, but I'm gonna have to go the duds who single-handedly gave up the win to Bovas with James Conner going out and CeeDee Lamb. I mean, these are Titans right here. I don't even know the last time these guys been injured, but guess what? They got scared of Bovas and they hit the bench.
Yeah, CD was out like he didn't score a single point, did he? He was out within the first like quarter, first like few possessions.
Yeah, he didn't play long. I think that had to do with him trashing the Bears a few weeks ago or a month ago or something.
Yeah. You never do that. It's the
It's
Ben
pretty
Johnson curse, really.
pretty intimidating if you ask me. But duds of the week, I'm gonna go with those two guys. They kind of just really left Padilla in hell right now. So that's mine.
Love, love. I only got one because I just had a quick second to peek this over, but I think for the up and coming kid, Bad Intentions, I think he got a little bit of ahead of himself when he saw Franklin last game. Looked outstanding, obviously, with Bo Nix the game before, lots of targets, but he was an absolute dud this week. I mean, that Chargers defense is obviously something to be reckoned with. Speaking from experience, or being the only Chargers fan you'll ever meet IRL. But Troy Franklin was bottled up a measly, what is it,
2.9.
2.8 points. I think
Oh, I
he was
gave him.
probably leading a lot of waiver wires in regular leagues last week, and to just then go put out an egg like this, you just hate to see it.
I mean, usually when you're in win now mode, you kind of want to have a little bit of depth and Bad Intentions is going to learn a little bit this year. He's a smart guy, smart GM, but like you said, I think he's getting a little ahead of himself. And
He lost by three to only Dan's, and I guess the rest of his bench, yeah, really not a lot of depth. There's no one he could have started that would have gotten him out of that hole. But again, 2.8 that's just unacceptable from the roster.
can't have that. That's how you never get out of tier four or tier five, whatever one he's in. Now, speaking of only Dan's, I would like to head over to which teams are hot of the week. Hot, starting with only Dan's. 3-0. This guy's 3-0. He's making it all happen. He hasn't had the prettiest wins. He had a few ugly ones, but he's day
Hey,
in, day out,
a
he's got it.
win's a win, baby.
Wins a win. That's true. You can't ever go against that. Blowies. I want to go with Blowies again. I want to say that he kind of rebounded. He showed poor performance last week, but it takes true resiliency to come back in the UFFL and rebound and go get most points. Actually, I lied. He didn't get most points.
But he
Forgive
was
me. That
close.
was polar effect. Um, Yes. And last but not least, yours truly, Mr. Delaniacs, finally heating up. You know, it's
All it took was a franchise quarterback. Who would have thought?
how do we feel? How do we feel about this year? I want to talk about that really quick.
Oh, we love it, man. It's great to see a team that I've been tweaking with. A lot of the times I tweak just to tweak, and it's not to the benefit of my team. But this year I had a solid vision for what I wanted to do. I let my star players carry me. Puka's probably the best receiver in the league right now. I don't think anyone can debate that based off stats. I think he's basically been 25 or over each week, 1, 2, and 3. And then Drake May, man, let the white boys make some noise.
Hey, I will say that was, I was very curious to how Delaniacs was going to go about correcting the positions they've lacked for their career. And I will say, when I was out golfing for the UFFL Open and I saw that trade come through, everyone's panicking. Everyone's already lit on the golf course. Like, oh God, what did Delaney do now? Not Khalil Shakir 2.0. And Drake May, what a heady move. I will say that was an awesome move by you. You knew what needed to be done. So I think you did put yourself in position to actually be competitive this year.
I
And
think it comes down a lot to in the UFFL. It takes a few years to figure out how trading works. Don't really want to trade with people like Fish, but I keep trying to give him another try. No, but honestly, I think it was a perfect situation for me and Tuna. I'm not sure how well 113 is going to shake out for him, but when you find a guy who's had really big success with Jalen Hurts and Drake May, he had that flexibility to be able to let go of May. Maybe he's regretting that a bit now, but obviously you're not mad at having Hurts on the team. So it was really a good win-win trade. My team benefited. I think his did a decent amount. Palmer might still make some noise. I think he was out targeting Khalil Shakur last game, so that's a little weird. But you love to see those trades where really everybody wins.
yeah, absolutely. And speaking of someone that doesn't let people win in trades, and like you said, Fish, something that just kind of came across my mind today was another Fish trade that him punting off CJ Stroud to get some. Looked
Oh
like
man, what a dirty underhand
guy
move.
knows what he's
What?
doing, man.
I was about to say, yeah, we got to give him his props. That like third eye he opened to be like C.J. Stroud is going to be ass next year. Well, he might have a deal with Satan. I don't know, man. We got to get Fish checked.
Truly fishing the fellas out here. You think we'd get used to it?
Man.
Let's talk about who's not hot. And obviously, speaking of, you know who, and we've been wanting to say this guy for a while is Get Some. Fun fact: Get Some 0-3 this year. I believe he might be the only winless team so far in the league.
I believe so.
I think 14 even got one. But winless and get this one. He's 4-27 all time. Not looking great. I think you would be booted at this point if you were an NFL GM and probably working at
Well,
McDonald's.
Ryan Poles has been around for a while, so let's not,
That's true.
no, we got to go there.
I will.
I
You
have
are
the win
correct.
percentages here pulled up for everyone's career records. So some notable, interesting winning percentages. Bad intentions right now, obviously only 3 games in, but he's got a 67 win percentage. Amazing. Dad Bod, he's been in the league for how long?
He's been in for what, 6 years, 7?
54% win
I see
percentage,
that.
80 and 45. So you see a lot of these. We're all pretty even. Here's a really interesting one to me. The Taggart brothers, Fish and Gord, both who have a championship under their belt. Not a great win percentage, but they just keep fighting.
They got the win that
46%,
count.
45. And then the biggest one is right before last place is a 43 win percent with back nines, and then very last place is a 12% winning percentage by Get
This
Some.
you got to just at some point you got to just fucking. I mean, you got to take the guy behind the woodshed and just put him down, man. It's not.
He's
It's
got to figure something
sad
out.
sight to see, but some guys are like, man, is he really helping out the league here? I'm like, well, he's definitely donating. That's for damn sure. I will say though, here's one more little stray going at Get Some 9 game losing streak here. He's on a 9 game losing streak carrying over from last year. And who better to beat than the guy giving him a hard time this week than Smoking Jays? You know?
Smoking Jays, baby.
And I will say this. I will kind of, throw some shade at myself and longest losing streak ever from that I recall is Smoking Jays at 11. Only
11
yeah,
straight
the
games.
year after we won the
Holy
championship.
shit.
we Andrew Luck went down. We had everyone and their mom go down. That was a really sad year for us. Very humbling year for us. But 11 games only to go out with a 2 game winning streak and hitting most points of the week out of one of those two. But that's something Getson will probably never do in his life. So keep an eye on that 9 game losing streak moving forward. Two other teams I want to just briefly talk about is Drinking Fortes. This guy's, he's trying to rebuild, but when you go out and you start, not wanting to do the trades that could break the leagues, and then you're just getting cold feet, and then you got a chance to go get Igbuka, and you pass on that for Travis Hunter. We all knew what Travis Hunter was going to be. He's a project. I think Travis will eventually kind of work his way back or work his way through becoming a reliable pro, but it's just not going to happen anytime soon. And the guy just doesn't have much building blocks. So I really hope he can start digging a little deeper and start building the team that was competitive and that almost won him a championship. So that's another team on mine. And last but not least is gonna be Gordon the guys. What is it, Delaney's? Is this a championship hangover right here, or what's going on? You just got
I
to.
feel like it's got to be a little bit. I mean, you can't say that the guy constructs a bad roster. I mean, looking at it, he's still, Trey McBride, JSN, a couple guys with a slow start, but it's a really good roster. Yeah, I think maybe just guys have won a championship for the first time in their life and they start acting a little different. They start going out to the club a little bit more on the
The
weekends.
guy, the
But I
guy's
gotta say, I think
guy
he'll
starts
come out and
popping
I
out
think
babies now. He's about to have a kid. It's like, geez, dude, act like you've been in the winner's
act like
circle
you've been here
before.
before. But
Yes.
I think he'll shake off this little losing streak. I mean, who could have guessed that Nico Collins and T Higgins had, not the hottest start that we would think. And obviously losing Burrow plays a factor into that, but I think his team bounces back and is solid again.
One way to get back on track is knowing that you get to go against illegals without CD Lamb next week, without James Conner next week. If you lose to illegals, he might need to start rebuilding, packing it up, and getting out of here. But that's highly unlikely going to happen. Probably going to be sending illegals packing here very soon. So that's one of who's not. Now, one I do want to give. If you got one, please let me know. But I want to go over a dark horse for the rest of the year. Um, as much as fun as I love to give crap to this guy, his team's really got light at the end of the tunnel and it's Fuller effect. He did win most points of the week. He's got that quarterback that can just put the team on the shoulders, but his weakest position at running back just got a whole lot better. DeAndre Swift is still doing his thing. I know he gets a bad rap out there, but as a Bears fan, I can tell he's really not that bad. But Trey Benson, the big Trey Benson coming up this week with James Conner going down, I think that could be huge for Fuller effect. Um, he's got that going for him, and who knows, maybe Bill can figure it out and be a reliable RB.
Bill, Bill, Bill. Yeah, we hope so. We hope so. Or is Jeremy McNichols or Chris Rodriguez Jr. going to rise from the ashes?
Maybe we'll see, but I will say shout out to Fuller Effect. He didn't give up hope on Mark Andrews. I would have beat him with a switch if he would have been doing what he did, and he stuck with him last week. And Mark Andrews pretty much went off and helped him win most points of the week. So not all is lost for Fuller Effect, and hopefully they can do well this year as well.
Yeah, you have a tight end on your team, and I am the leading expert at shitty tight ends here in this league. I have a tight end put up 1 point back-to-back weeks. He's getting cut. I don't care who. Yeah, he's out here. He's
You
out
know what
here.
I like to do? I think I'm doing this with Judy this week. I like to, I don't cut him. I like to give him a stern benching. Just sit
I
him on
had
the
to do
bench for
that
a week.
week this week with Devontae Smith, and Fuller Effect sent me a bedazzled text message wondering why I would ever bench the Slim Reaper, and lo and behold, he put up 20 points when I made him watch the team go out there and play without him.
That's why we do these things, Aaron. That's why we do these things. Anyways, all right. Before we go, I want to look ahead to week 4. A couple matchups we can talk about. Maybe some can't really release the details on game of the week just yet, but a few of the matchups I kind of want to go over looking in. And let's see here. Let's see some tasty ones, some tasty treats we got going. Personally, again, I know it's game of the week and that's WEAK, but Smoking Jays and Get Some. It's Kamish versus, the pain in the ass, it, this kid's been in my nest for 4 years now, 3 years now. I've been trying to get him to leave the nest. He's just making himself a home. But this could be the week he finally beats. We're 4-0 against him. Who knows what we are in all the other leagues, but this guy just cannot beat me.
I'll,
I
I'll,
will say, I will say, it's not a rat for Smoking Jays this week. So that's one I do like.
I will say I think Get Some on this podcast will get probably a lot of hate. But I mean, every now and then you got to give him some flowers. He was competitive in this last game. Omarion finally showed up, the number 2 overall pick that I think a lot of us were counting out when the Chargers were not giving
I
him the
did like
touches we
Omarion.
thought he was going to get. And not to say Jordan Addison should be back this week. That could be huge. We don't have J.J. McCarthy's little dumbass throwing to him anymore. So I think Carson Wentz, or is it who's the is it
Carson.
Carson Wentz? Yeah. I think he'll be a little bit better for the passing game there. I know Jay Jettas was probably frustrated these last few weeks. Dylan Sampson has been looking good. Unfortunately, Quinton Judkins is back, but there's a few things going right. And a sneaky pickup by Get Some. Daniel Jones, dark horse MVP candidate.
Rumor has it, according to the rumors going on at Get Some front office, they might be done with C.J. Stroud, and it looks like DJ might be the franchise quarterback over there. So it'll be interesting. One thing we can say is if Get Some can't put up points on offense, he sure as hell can put up points on defense. So you got to watch out for that Vikings defense next week as well.
They're
Um,
people eaters. Real scary
yeah.
stuff.
Yep. One other matchup I really do like. A few. I mean, there's a few. Only Dan's and Fish is going to be a good one. Back nine's Fuller Effect with Fuller Effect heating up. Bovas and Blowies. That's a good one too. I really like that one. Blowies is projected to kind of knock him out the park right now. You know, Bovas is dealing with the quarterback situation. He's dealing with Purdy being hurt, but we'll see. I think that could be a really good one. But those are a few of the matchups I really do like, and that could impact the league moving forward. How about yourself?
Yeah, I haven't gotten a chance to look at this too much, so let me just go through here real quick and see what I kind of like.
I really
Yeah, I
like.
think I think Smoking Jays to Get Some should be a good little matchup. Like you said, a team that pretends like they want to tank sometimes, aka Commish, and the team that's truly committed to the tanks.
Truly,
We'll have to see who
truly,
pulls
truly.
that one out. Back nines and Fuller effect. I had to give back nines a good old swift belt to the ass this week. So let's see
I
if he can
saw
bounce back to Fuller effect. Both teams that are definitely putting up points. And then what about tunas and dad bodies, right? Two
That's always a good
longtime
one.
UFFL
That's two
members.
champions right there too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
two champs. I think that'll
two
be a good
guys
little
that we
matchup.
you would never know are in the league because they never talk.
Never.
So
I mean, when's the last time one of those guys has been out to a draft?
that's a great question. I know Tuna shows his face, but he usually takes off and leaves before the draft. That was last year. But hey, we're gonna get them out next year.
As long as he's not being a Mr. Pink, I guess we're fine.
Yeah, that's fair. I will say really quick one last thing. I would like to go into predictions. Final studs of the week next week and duds of the week. I'm going with the stud of the week, week 4. Watch out for Jake Ferguson. I think he's gonna get tons of volume. He did last week. Obviously, um, CD's out. They are playing. Who the Cowboys playing this week? They're playing, I believe. Let me
Green Bay. So
Green
yeah,
Bay. And
that defense is itching for a rerun.
from what I've seen is they're locking down the perimeter but giving up a lot in the middle. So this could be a Fergie week. And dud of the week, and he dudded last week. I'm gonna say this is gonna keep going. I'm gonna go with Zay Flowers. He's kind of a one-trick pony. They want him to pretend he's Tyreek. He's not gonna be Tyreek. He's Hollywood Brown 2.0, and it's gonna be a hard play next week to have him. So hopefully I'm wrong. Got him in one of my leagues, but I just don't see much coming from Zay.
Fair enough. I'll give a quick little one. I've been giving another look over here, but I think Same team as you, but kind of opposite end of the spectrum. George Pickens, a player with all the talent in the world, and obviously with CD out, he's going to be fully ready to fight the other opposing members' cornerbacks. So, I think he'll get a lot of targets. He obviously gets those end zone targets, red zone targets for big touchdowns. But without CD there, it's really unlimited possibilities for him.
Pure pin.
And then my dud of the week is going to be a little bit personal, but I think the rookie Jackson Dart's thrust into that starting offensive role against a really, really tough Chargers defense. And again, not just saying that because I'm a Chargers fan, but man, you get a defense, even missing Khalil Mack, they still have really premium edge rushers. Tuli Tulopo has been awesome. Derwin James has been coming off the edge and rushing. He can play any position on the field. And Jesse Minter is a wizard. He's a wizard, I tell you. He sets up these defensive schemes. He doesn't just play the Vic Fangio 2 level high, but he sends blitzes when teams are not expecting it with a lot of really well disguised coverages. So I think for Jackson Dart, it's going to be a tough week.
I agree. I think when it's all said and done after this week, Dart is going to be Xing his both of his eyes.
Yes, yes. He will
Xing
not be
both
eating a W this week.
Not this weekend. Anyways, we like to thank you guys all for tuning in this week. We'll try and keep up. We got plenty more coming, and get ready for week 4 and game of the week coming Thursday.